Single men over 35 years old, what are your feelings of having children? Now she is about to turn 18. I'm not F starting all over again. I became a dad at 17. Same. 37 and wishing I had kids years ago. Spent the majority of 20s single and wasted 5 years on a single mother with more red flags than the CCP. 37 here too. And same situation. Just a string of women that cheat on me. Feels like I wasted my life on them. Can't think that way. I'm sure you enjoyed your time with those women up until the cheating. Don't think of that as time lost, but rather life lived. Focus on the fun times you did have. The sex. The good memories. You could have found the one at 20, devoted 17 years to her, and still got cheated on, and divorced and be worse off. If you meet someone awesome now, then everything you did in your life up to meeting them was necessary for that path. I could have been smarter with money in my 20s and 30s than I was, and have way more money right now. But who is to say what my life would have been like if spent or saved differently? I could have been less happy in those years than I was. I could have saved and encountered some tragedy. There is just no point speculating. I did the best I could do at the time, based on who I was and what I was okay with doing. Don't live in regret. Use the past to make your present as good as you can. That is all anyone can do. I love this perspective. HD my first at 38. Was established and devoted a lot of dad/coaching time to raise a fine man. Has 31 now. Age doesn't matter, effort does. Winner. I have zero desire to have children. At first, I kind of wanted one. But as I've become more in tune with myself, I've realized that I actually don't. I like kids, and I'm good with them. I think I'd make a great father. But it's just not for me. I'm 32. So not quite the age range you wanted. But almost there, and pretty firm in my decision. My own old man's had his last kid when he was in his 50s though. Yes, having children takes a great deal of energy, but I wouldn't put it past you because of your age. Even if you're past your physical prime, having more years of experience can be a great asset when it comes to being a good paternal figure. I wouldn't worry about it much if I were you. Opus. I think the only real downside would be dying earlier in the kid's life. Just makes it all the more important to be a stable role model for them and set them up well mentally, financially, or otherwise when you do decide to have them, which arguably is easier to do when you're older. That's my biggest fear. But then again, life isn't guaranteed for anyone. I learned that the hard way when my old man passed away at the ripe age of 40 due medical complications. Wanting a child is one thing. Thinking about how much responsibility it is and how much it changes your life is another. I've never wanted kids. I can barely take care of myself. No way I'm taking care of a child. Also, I've just never had the desire. No babies are cute, no I want a family or anything like that. I don't intend to ever be in a situation where I have to care for a child for more than like 5 minutes. Speaking my language. Here. Exactly how I feel. I've always been ambivalent. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's fine to want things and work towards those goals, but I've seen some people make some staggeringly bad decisions just because I need to be married now, or if I don't have kids with this person then it'll never happen, despite that person being a walking nightmare. All good things will come to you if you just do X. Y. Z is a dangerous philosophy, and not a true one. Sometimes life doesn't work out the way you want for a number of reasons. With anything where you hang your hat on this has to happen, and I'll do anything to make it happen, is where bad choices can be made that come with bad outcomes. It becomes more apparent with age. I need to be earning X by 40, living X lifestyle with a wife and X number of kids. Okay, cool goals. But what happens if that doesn't happen? My boyfriend has the same attitude. When I ask about children he says, if it happens it happens. He doesn't seem in a rush to get there, but it's also not against the idea. For me this is confusing, because I know in my bones that all I want is to be a mother and I feel the pressure of time already. But I think he feels more pressure for getting in the good position to provide for us if it happens. Every time I ask about and want certainty, he responds with don't rush the steps. I wish he was more daydreaming about having children like me. It's certainly worth having a chat about getting on the same page about timeline. He may just be taking a prudent approach to getting all his ducks in a row financially, or being really sure about the relationship being for life. Because how solid the relationship is, and how cemented for the long haul is one of the most important things. Man, when it happens, it happens. Not everyone lives a fairy tale love story of finding someone at 25, getting married and having 3 kids a year after. If you aren't actively putting yourself in a position to find a partner, then start now. I did it at 25 and it isn't a fairy tale. I did it at 32 and it's definitely tough. Like, my son Tucker S in the tub tonight. There's no happily ever after to something like that. My special needs kid still does that at 7. So it could be worse. Considering I'm 39 and still a virgin, I say I missed the curve. Plus, I'm dealing with health issues. So my priority right now is getting back to being healthy and enjoying the things I enjoyed doing. Check your local eBay stores. I'm 47 and never had kids and I don't regret it ever. This is not to say that I particularly dislike children or anything. I just made that decision about myself. And I recognize that being a parent is for most parents the greatest thing they ever do and the greatest love they ever feel. More power to them for it. But I'm very comfortable with my decision. I'm 48 and occasionally I think I could meet a woman who is ready to have kids in her late 30s and try it out. Then I see kids' behavior and what's involved with raising them correctly into good humans and I immediately know I made the right call. No thanks. I feel like it's getting increasingly difficult to raise a child because of how rapidly everything changes around us. When I was a kid I could only dream of the stuff that kids now take for granted. Even buying a birthday gift for a kid/teenager has become a challenge because expectations are through the roof. I don't want kids. I tried it. Dated a single mom with 3 when I was in my 20s. Wasn't for me. And for the record, she cheated, which ended the relationship. I didn't just play the father figure and peace out when I didn't like it. I was in it for the long haul. But she was out there for the long strokes. I think the American cultural idea of a nuclear family has become warped in a way that makes it not really realistically functional anymore. I think it's toxic that once a couple has children, everything else automatically becomes secondary. One partner is usually forced to give up a career. Disposable income disappears. Your identity is subsumed by your children's. You effectively cease to be individuals or even a couple. Once children enter the equation, you become parents first and foremost, and everything else loses priority. I think this destroys a lot more relationships and leads to more broken homes than most people would care to admit. And I've just decided not to be a part of it, and I regret nothing. My son is 33 and has told me straight up he doesn't want any kids. And as someone who would have been a grandmother, I'm totally fine with not having any grandchildren. I told him to only have children if he really wants to put the time, effort, and has the money to do it. Having a child is something that not everyone needs to do. It's a lifetime commitment and can be difficult. And the way things are in the world, it could be even more scary and difficult. Thanks for being so understanding. Apparently it's really hard for many of our parents, which I don't discount, but it's really nice that you have and give grace. Me and my last girlfriend broke up because she wants kids and I don't. I thought when I was younger that my feelings about wanting kids would change, but now that I'm 38, I still have zero interest in having children. A lot of my friends have kids now, and I don't envy it whatsoever. Personally, it looks miserable. My family are breeders. They all press me about kids. I always say the same thing. You guys are not really selling me based on what I see. Lol. Then they pull out the "it's different" when it's your own, just to make it into something you can't possibly falsify until it's too late to change it. I love them, but cannot eat a whole one at one sitting. Well, through God all things are possible. So jot that down. Theoretical yes. Practical no. Not in this world. Not in this society. Not in this economy. Not in this political landscape. Not in this culture. Not with those women I've met so far, and not with a failure like me. I can relate. I would not want to bring a child into this type of environment. I need a good answer. If my child would ask me one day why I brought it into this world, a positive answer that is not selfish, ignorant, dumb, delusional. But I don't have any. There is so much bad stuff going on now that surpassed past fears. So many things I can't influence or find workarounds for. It would be irresponsible, making me a bad role model. Not disagreeing, just curious. If the world was perfect, what would be a good and unselfish answer? I just think that having kids is inherently selfish, no matter the circumstances. Not that it's a bad thing. Same with owning a dog, and I adopted one. Nah, I'm good thanks. Time consuming, expensive, hassle, and the list goes on. I'm not interested in relationships either. So it's definitely not happening. I'll be 35 this summer. If I meet someone who really wants children and we are able to afford raising them in this world, and I can tell she'll be an incredible parent and our views on parenting align, I'm fine with having kids. But honestly, I'm not looking for that kind of partner. I'd much prefer meeting someone who wants to live the dink lifestyle. It's less stressful, and we can have lots of pets instead of children. Basically, I'm keeping the kids option on the table, but executing that plan only if all of the criteria are met, and each year slowly pushes that option closer to the edge of the table, like a cat curious to see if it'll fall. F pets too. I'd want them less than kids. Houseplants? Not single but also not married. Not having children was one of the best decisions I ever made. I, 55 meters, was worried from my mid-30s until mid-40s about not having kids. Now I wake up every morning happy I didn't. This is something I have wrestled with. After the breakdown of my marriage, I decided I wasn't fussed on kids and ended up dating someone who was very adamant on not having children. However, 6 months into our relationship, and on a weekend away, we found ourselves in some hot pools after a hike, and a father was playing with his 2 young boys, throwing them in the water, swimming around and being a submarine, and I was struck with a strong paternal desire. Since then, I've been single, and I've had to wrestle with letting go of what was, for all intents and purposes, a fantastic relationship, because I wanted kids, and now I'm facing potentially not having kids, unless I meet someone younger than me, someone closer to my age who things just work with, or someone who already has children, maximum 2, and even then, it comes with its own issues and fraught with a plethora of other discussions. I have gotten myself to the point where I have come to peace with making the decision to pursue the desire to have kids, but that if I do not have them, then I'm okay with it, although I'm actively seeking people who want kids, or if they are the right fit, already have kids of their own. Good luck to you.